Question number 2. Order, order. I've just asked for some cooperation from my left. I will get more severe if I have to, with reluctance. Question number 2, Metiria Turei.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker, tēnā koutou e te whare. Ko taku pātai ki te pirimia a ka pātai katoa ia I runga I te mana o ngā kaupapa here katoa o tāna Kawantatanga.
Speaker.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes.
Te pātai tāpiri.
Supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
Does the Prime Minister still believe, as he said in the House yesterday, that it is better and more effective for the government to set individual targets on components of child poverty rather than a specific child poverty reduction target?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes.
He pātai tāpiri.
A supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
When the Prime Minister talked yesterday about the better public service targets, like rheumatic fever and early childhood education, did he know that the expert advisory group on child poverty provided a comprehensive list of 51 child poverty-related indicators, including both of those?
The Right Honourable
Speaker,
Prime Minister.
Yes, but that's exactly the point, isn't it? On Monday, last week, the member was saying that the target should have 17. Today she seems to be saying it's 51. For the last while, she's been saying the number of children are 360. Then yesterday she wanted to accept that the government's number of 85,000, or at least 60 to 100,000 was correct. She's all over the map, and that's the point. The government is far better to approach.
Point of order.
Sir, he has not addressed the question and instead talked about a Green Party position which he has no authority over.
Order. No. When the Prime Minister rose to answer the question, he addressed the question immediately. He certainly has gone on to enlarge on that answer, which is probably unnecessary, but he certainly answered the question immediately when he...
He pātai tāpiri.
A supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
When the Prime Minister committed to his government using individual indicators and targets to address child poverty, did he mean that he would adopt the expert advisory group's recommendations for a comprehensive list of child poverty-related indicators?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, what the government did, and I think quite correctly, was to say that poverty is a very complicated issue, but there are some individual component parts which, if the government focuses resources and attention to, can make significant gains. We're doing that in terms of rheumatic fever. We're doing that in terms of the number of children being immunised. We're doing that in terms of the number of children having access to early childhood education. We're doing that in terms of the number of teenage pregnancy and young mums on the equivalent of domestic purposes benefit. I think it's far more sensible for the government to approach this issue in a systematic and thorough way, dealing with each of these issues, rather than spend, as that member wants to, her lifetime dreaming up some dodgy number which she knows is wrong.
Order.
Point of order, sir. That was an unnecessary and personal attack.
Order.
I take personal offence.
Order. I couldn't hear correctly what the point of order is.
I take personal offence at that personal attack on my integrity, sir, and ask for him to withdraw and apologise.
Order. No, when I consider... I don't think the final part of the answer was helpful to the order of the House. I accept that. But I hardly think it was a personal attack on the member.
He pātai tāpiri.
Supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. So will the Prime Minister expand the better public service targets to include all of those other indicators that experts have said contribute to child poverty, such as household crowding, infant mortality, self-harm and suicide by children, and serious skin infections?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I doubt we would have an individual better public service target for each one, or there'd be so many individual targets that might lose some of its meaning. But all of those issues are on the government's radar, and all of them are getting attention.
He pātai tāpiri.
Supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
When the Prime Minister is refusing to establish either official measurements of child poverty and also won't set targets for a comprehensive list of child poverty-related outcomes, isn't he really telling the country that he will avoid any attempt to identify, to measure or to reduce child poverty in New Zealand?
Well, you're right,
Speaker,
Prime Minister.
quite the opposite. This is the first government in the history of this parliament that's had a list of better public service targets and been quite happy to be measured against them and has set those targets as quite challenging areas. The government produces a raft of different measures and reports in relation to poverty and income, including the longitudinal study by Brian Perry, which shows that income inequality isn't getting worse. The reason the member doesn't quote it is because she doesn't like it, because it doesn't suit her arguments.
He pātai tāpiri.
Supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
So what has changed since 2012 when the Prime Minister said, quote, "If you don't measure, monitor and report on things, I don't think you can make progress," end quote?
The
Speaker.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Absolutely nothing. And that's why the government has these individual targets and has a range of different measures. But, Mr. Speaker, it's not this government. It's been a long-standing advice from officials that one single measure of poverty in this country would be an inappropriate way of dealing with it.
Question